kṛtaṃ dehena karma idam na mayā śuddharūpiṇā. Iti cintānurodhī kurvannapi karoti na. One who acts in conformity with thought such as, this is done by the body and not by me, the pure self, such a person, even though acting, does not act. For a liberated seer, actions undertaken by his BMI in waking state is similar to the actions taken in his dream state. In both the cases, waking and the dream state actions, he has no association with such actions. In the previous verses, we concluded that his body has fallen apart like a dry leaf. So how can the tree have anything to do with the movement of the dry leaves after they have separated from the tree? How does the sage have any connection with the BMI, which is like the dry leaf, with him being the tree? Even when the BMI acts, the sage says, I am not acting. Self that he exists as is motionless. This verse, however, does not grant a liberty to do anything as a jiva filled with vasanas and desires and get away saying that, see, Ashtavakra has said, I am following the same thing. My body is doing, I am not doing. Only a Jivan Mukta is qualified to say this. What kind of actions might be taken up by his body upon his realization? Nitya karma, duty as a householder and all actions related to that duty as a father, mother, son, daughter, housewife, office goer, etc. All these things are undertaken by him without a ray of, least a trace of attachments or desires. Duty as a saint, especially when the saint is not into the grahastha ashrama, then that duty is imparting Brahma Vidya to those who approach him, or in some cases to reach out himself to all and give. This depends on the intuition received from within. Ramana taught to only those few who came to his ashram, and that too in silence. Whereas Swami Shivananda set up the ashram as a Gurukulam and imparted spiritual teachings to hundreds and hundreds of sannyasis who came to him and took Diksha from him. Chinmayananda traveled worldwide, set up center worldwide for spiritual teachings. Even while carrying out the above duties, these sages stand totally disassociated from their being. It is the spirit source from within which teaches to others, utilized through the equipment body. In their expression, in their case, the expression body is doing, I am not doing, has not to be taken in literal sense. It means whatever actions they take up in fulfilling their responsibilities while living in the world and clearing their prarabdha, or in carrying out the divine mission as per intuition, they do not think ever that they are doing something. Body is doing, I am not doing, has to be taken in this sense. We dealt about actions coming to him unasked in the previous verse. Unasked in the case of a Jivan Mukta are those actions which asks him to do something, his duties as a householder. Asked in the case of a Jivan Mukta is the asking arising out of divine intuition, asking by the spirit or the source within to act, the divine command to act. The lesson to be taken from this for sincere sadhakas is, whatever we just now dealt as unasked and asked in the case of a Jivan Mukta, in case of a sadhaka with only goal as self-realization, he should not reverse this unasked and asked. That is, he should not ask or indulge in anything as a householder with his BMI asking him to do so. He should do everything only unasked, that is, not commanded by his senses, but only as a duty. This should be taken up very carefully, understood very carefully by a sincere sadhaka. In a satsang given several years on Sai and Tattva, Tattva means essence, Jivan Mukta, he gave a comparison in 3 dimensions between Sai and Tattva, Sai and essence, Sai and Jivan Mukta. In the first dimension, he gave the similarities between Sai and a Jivan Mukta. Second dimension, he gave the difference between Sai and a Jayam, where he taught a Jivan Mukta goes through all the miseries of samsara, leads life of a Jiva with vasanas and desires for several births or few births, and then ultimately discovers himself to be the God or self. Whereas God incarnate exists ever as Brahman. The third dimension which he taught is relevant to today's verse. He said the similarity between them is also that both God and a Jivan Mukta do not do anything. whatever they do, they just happen as per divine command or intuition for a Jivan Mukta. And God acts for the emancipation of his bhaktas, followers, without a ray of thought that he is doing anything. Now he leaves you with a question. What are all the things in your life which you are indulging, which are unasked for? And also, what are all the things which you are indulging, which are asked for? Are you able to differentiate between the two, unasked for and asked for? Taking the clue from a Jivan Mukta's life, where you have been taught today that whatever prarabdha demands from him to take up, he does all those things unasked for. And whatever divine mission he has to involve, he does it asked for, because the spirit from within commands him, asks him to do it. Are you following the same pattern, or you are confused between these two aspects? First of all, understand very clearly what he meant by unasked and asked in case of a Jivan Mukta, and then apply it in your case and find out whether you are at the same sync as a sadhaka as a Jivan Mukta in these two things, unasked and asked. Okay? Let us see if there is any line from the commentary. Nothing really. Okay. Hari Om Tat Sat.